Good afternoon, Mr. Gonzalez here. I hope you guys are doing fine. This is the lesson for Thursday, July 9th. This is the second week of the summer school, guys. We have 3 more weeks and a half to go, and you'll be done. Okay, as I mentioned yesterday, the next topic that we're going to do is rate, ratios, and proportions. Okay, so the most important thing that I want you guys to concentrate is on proportions. Okay, proportions are the only time when you can cross multiply, because sometimes when you have fractions you automatically cross multiply even if you're adding, subtracting, or multiplying or dividing. The first thing you do when you see fractions is cross multiply, and that's not how it is. The only time you cross multiply, like I said, is when you have proportions, okay? So, proportions are formed by two ratios that I also call fractions, okay? Fractions is just one form to write ratios. So, I'm gonna do like a little explanation in Spanish, okay? Then we'll go back to the English version. Ok, chicos, hoy vamos a hacer razones, tasas y proporciones, ¿ok? Razones, tasas y proporciones. Acuérdense, las proporciones son las que yo le mencioné ayer, que vamos a trabajar en eso hoy día, ¿ok? Esta es la lección para mañana jueves, julio 9, y con esto terminamos la segunda semana de Summer School. Por lo tanto, nos quedan 3 semanas y media, y en menos de lo que ustedes piensan, ya habremos terminado. Ok, lo que quiero decirles es que las proporciones es la única que se multiplican en cruz, ok, porque ustedes cuando ven fracciones siempre, yo he visto durante la clase que ustedes multiplicaban en cruz, pero no se puede multiplicar en cruz si ustedes estuvieran sumando fracciones, restando fracciones o multiplicando fracciones. No pueden multiplicar en cruz, solo cuando tienen una ecuación, o sea, el signo de igualdad, formada por fracciones en ambos lados de la ecuación, ¿ok? So, acuérdense, siempre que miren algo así, multipliquen en cruz, ¿ok? So, acuérdense también que los ratios o las razones se pueden escribir como fracciones, se pueden escribir como semicolon, ¿ok? O se pueden escribir con la palabra a, ¿ok? Porque estamos comparando dos cosas. Bueno, vamos ahora a la lección en inglés, ¿ok? So, as a warm-up, remember, like I always tell you guys, this is supposed to be taught in class, all right? So you always have a warm-up problem. So, and I'm telling you here, solve for the missing variable using multiplying. That means cross multiplying. I'm not telling you to multiply, okay, across. So it doesn't matter, guys, where you actually want to keep the variable, right? But remember, you always want the variable to be in the left side, because that would avoid you, a lot of problems. So you're going to multiply this times that, okay, and you're going to multiply this times that. And remember, you always want the variable, okay, on the left hand side. Nothing wrong you put it on the right side, right, guys? But remember, okay, just to be consistent, right? So that will give me 36 times x will give me 36x, right? Equals 252. Remember, guys, okay, when you cross multiply, you end up with a another equation, okay? So now what do? We divide both sides by 36, because this is one step equation. And if you divide that, 252 divided by 36, you will get 7, okay? So the value of x in this problem equals 7. Now, see, like we're making a little more interesting here. Remember, guys, now, listen, if you multiply this, okay, and you keep it on the left side, that's fine, it doesn't matter, okay? Then you have to cross multiply this with that, but be careful, because remember, these two are monomials, and these two are monomials. That means only one term. You don't have to put parentheses. But in this case, when you have to multiply a number times a binomial, my suggestion is that you guys put it in parentheses. So I will write 4 times x plus 10, and I have to put in parentheses because I have to distribute, right? If I multiply 3 times 24, I will get 72. So remember, now that I have to solve, what am I supposed to do? I have to distribute first, all right? So we distribute 4 times x, which is 4x, and 4 times 10, which is 4. Positive times positive is positive, and 4 times 10 is 40. I saw a lot of kids in the lessons before forgetting about this sign, okay? If that's minus, so, and this is positive, so your answer is supposed to be negative here, okay? So be careful. Now we have a two-steps equation, okay? The constants gets eliminated first. So because it's a plus, we're gonna do minus. We will cancel here. We have 4x equals 32, because 72 minus 40 is 32. Now we divide by 4, okay guys? So because I have no space, I'm gonna write my answer here. So x will be equals to 8. 32 divided by 4 is 8. All right? Excuse me. We saw proportions last year, so this should be fresh on your mind. Okay? Same thing here. Now, the only thing is now we're gonna end up with variables on both sides. Look, this is what I'm talking about. If you multiply 2x times 3x, you can do it automatically, right? So 3 times 2x will give you 6x. Now, here, be careful. If you feel comfortable distributing from the beginning, so do it. But if you don't feel comfortable, you're better off, all right, just writing separate. Okay? And now you distribute. So for now, I'm gonna keep my 6x, and when I distribute, 8 times x will give me 8x. And this is what I'm talking about. A lot of kids, when they multiply 8 times 4, they forget the negative, and they put positive. But in this case, it's negative 32, okay? Don't forget, don't change the sign, because positive times a minus is a minus. And now we have variables on both sides. So remember, you want to keep the x in this side. So we're gonna do minus x, and I will have negative 2x here. That will cancel out, and I bring down the negative 32. Now we divide by negative 2, now we divide by negative 2, so x should be equal. Equal to positive 16, because minus divided by minus is positive. That was the word map, okay? Remember, when I ask you from the beginning to use cross multiplication, okay, that means that you have to multiply across. So now, let's do, remember guys, this is a ratio and that's a ratio, okay? And when we cross multiply, okay, these two ratios or these two fractions with the equal sign in between forms a proportion. So proportions always have the equal sign in the middle. Las proporciones siempre tienen el signo de igualdad en medio. So miren, esta es una razón y esta es otra razón, o sea, escritas en forma de fracción. So cuando tenemos el signo de igualdad, en este caso, multiplicamos en cruz. So las proporciones siempre tienen el signo de igualdad en medio, ¿ok? So, continuemos con la lección. Okay guys, so let's now do a word problems. Because remember, sometimes you have to create, okay, proportions in order for you to solve. And I always told you, you have to make sure what goes on top and what goes on the bottom, because you have to be consistent, okay? So, my suggestion in class was that you always read the problem, and whatever amount you have first, you put that on top, and whatever you have second, you put that on the bottom, okay? So remember, also another hint will be giving you 3 amounts or 3 numbers, right? That means that you're going to be looking for the 4th number, like here, and give you 3 numbers, 1, 2, 3, you're looking for this one, okay? 1, 2, 3, you're looking for that one. So you're only going to be missing one part, okay, of the proportions. Okay, let me just refresh my kids in Spanish what I'm talking about. So muchachos, acuérdense cuando decimos en clases, cuando estamos resolviendo proporciones, yo siempre les digo que cuando leamos el problema, la primer cosa que aparezca, o el primer, ¿cómo les quiero decir? La primera información que me den va a ir encima y la segunda información va a ir abajo, all right? Y tenemos que ser consistentes, porque ustedes van a ver que siempre les voy a dar 3 números, 1, 2, 3, entonces ustedes van a buscar el cuarto. Lo único que tienen que saber si ese que van a buscar va a ir arriba o va a ir abajo en la fracción que ustedes van a formar, ¿no? ¿Ok? So miren aquí les di 1, 2, 3 números, faltaba el cuarto. 1, 2, 3 números, faltaba el cuarto. Entonces, siempre van a tener una pista. So, miremos el primer problema, ¿ok? Julian rides his bike 80 miles per hour. So look, 80 miles per hour. So that means the miles gonna go on top and hours going to go on the bottom. Okay? So always remember, whatever is mentioned first, that goes on top. So if you wanna make sure you're not gonna make a mistake, write how you're going to represent your ratio, okay? So you're telling me that miles are going on top and hours should go on the bottom, okay? So remember, you have to create two fractions, you have to create two ratios, but the ratio they're gonna create, make sure in both sides, the mile goes on top and the hour goes on the bottom. So take a look. So I can clearly say in my first statement, Julian rides his bike 80 miles in 5 hours every Saturday. That means that 80 goes on top according to my setting, okay? And 5 goes on the bottom. Now, that's one side of the proportion, okay? So I have my first ratio. So that's gonna be equals to what? Okay, now you have to make sure if the X is gonna be placed on top or on the bottom. So let's see what piece of information they're giving me. At this rate, how far can he ride in 8 hours? So they're giving me the time. And because hours goes on the bottom, that means that 8's gonna go here and my X gonna go there. Okay? You have to be consistent, okay? Because if I give you 2 hours, okay? 5 and 8, so they both goes on the bottom. Now, I'm giving you only one information regarding the miles. That means that you're looking for the other part, the other information in miles. So let me just say one more time in Spanish. So muchachos, claramente yo veo aquí que Julián está corriendo su bicicleta 80 millas en 5 horas. So las millas vienen primero y las horas vienen después. Entonces quiere decir que las millas van a ir arriba y las horas van a ir abajo. So para que se ayuden, escriban ustedes la razón, ¿cómo la escribirían? Entonces su razón sería millas arriba y horas abajo. So cuando leen el problema, dicen, ok, si Julián corre 80 millas, las millas van arriba, entonces pongo las millas arriba y 5 horas abajo. Ahora, para buscar mi otra fracción, porque ya tengo la primera, es como esta, ok, tengo que decidir si la X va a ir arriba o la X va a ir abajo. Eso depende. So en la segunda parte me dicen que how far can he ride in 8 hours. So me están dando las horas en la segunda parte, so las horas van abajo, por lo tanto las X tienen que ir arriba. So una vez que tienen su proporción, ya pueden resolver. Okay, guys, so now that we have the proportion, now that we have the two ratios, so let's cross multiply, okay? So listen, these are monomials, so you can do it automatically. 5 times x is going to give you 5x equals 80, okay? Times 8, I think that will give you 640. Let me do it because you want to make sure, okay, I'm giving you the right information. 80 times 8. That will give me 640, right? Now if we divide by 5, okay, so that gives me 128. Okay, now remember, I always told you in class, when we have a word problem, we expect an answer. And because I know the value of x here is 128, what does 128 represent? The 128 represents the miles that is going to run. So you're gonna answer the question, okay? Julian, okay, let me just move this a little bit this way. Julian will ride 128 miles in 8 hours. That will be your answer, okay? Because remember, it's a word problem, and every time you have a word problem, we expect an answer. Niños, siempre que tenemos un problema verbal, hay que contestar la pregunta. Aunque ustedes resolvieron X es 128, ¿qué es lo que representa la X? Y de acuerdo al problema, la X representa, ok, las millas. Ok, eso tienen que contestar la pregunta. Alright? So, esa es la más sencilla. Sigamos con otro. Ahora, en este problema, déjenme abrirlo un ratito nada más para que puedan ver el problema en sí. El problema dice, A recipe calls for 12.5 pounds of carrots for 60 servings. So I'm giving you already one ratio here, but think about it. What does this amount represent? This one represents pound of carrots. So that's gonna be on top, and the servings is gonna be on the bottom, okay? So that's the first thing you have to do, identify how you're gonna write it, okay? Now, if you not sure, okay, how to put 12.5 pounds, guys, this is the same thing as saying 12.5. So you can convert that to a decimal, all right? So if I know that my carrots, okay, let's do pound of carrots are going on top, that means that servings are going to go on the bottom, right? That's how I'm gonna set up my ratios. Because carrots and servings. So my first ratio is going to be 12.5 because that's what the amount of carrots over 60. Okay? Now, I have to read the second part of the problem to see if my x is gonna go on top or my x is gonna go on the bottom. Now the question says how many pounds of carrots? So I'm looking for carrots. And where did the carrots go? The carrot goes on top, so the x is gonna go on top. Are needed for 1,000 servings, okay? And servings goes on the bottom, so servings goes right here. All right? So we cross multiply, okay? And that will give you 60x equals, I think it's going to be 12,500 because you multiply times 1,000. But I just want to make sure because I'm doing it with you, and it will be 12,500. Now we're going to divide by 60. Now we're going to divide by 60. So x equals, let's see, x equals, look, it will give you a decimal. All right? So remember what I told you in class. When you have a word problem, okay, you have to be very precise. So if you write 208.3, and because that goes on forever, you can just put that bar on top, and that means the 3 is going to repeat. Now, but just to be more precise, okay guys, I show you how to convert this to fraction in school. So you know that 208 is basically a whole number. So you have 208 pounds. Now, 0.3, how can I represent that in pounds? So in class, I told you to do this. Okay? So to that number right there in the calculator, you're gonna subtract the whole number, which is 208, so minus 208, all right? And that will give you 0.3333. I know what the answer is. I know it's gonna be 1/3, but you don't know that. So how will you convert that to a fraction? You will go, remember? You will go to math, this button right here, math, enter twice. And what does it give you? It gives you 1/3. So every time you want to convert something to a fraction, you do math, enter. So that will be 208, 1/3. So remember, because it's better off, it sounds more, how can I say? I will say correctly if you say, we'll need 208 and 1/3 of a pound, okay? Instead of saying 208.33333 pounds. So remember, so since the x represents pounds, the answer will be how many pounds of carrots are needed? Okay, so the recipe, okay, needs 208 1/3 pounds of carrots. That will be your answer. So in the homework, if you have a problem like that, please make sure you answer the question, okay? If you write 208.33333 or you put 0.3 and you put the line on top, the bar on top, that will be considered correctly too. But if it's a multiple choice question, I'm telling you, they're going to give you the answer like that as a fraction. Okay? Now, let's do two more. So let me just fold the page. Number 3. This is easy, guys. It doesn't matter how you're going to write the ratios because you're comparing the x and y's. But remember, they're telling you if x varies directly as y, okay, your setting is right here. You know that x is going to go on top and y is going to go on the bottom. If you write y over x, it's going to be exactly the same thing, but you have to be consistent when you pick the numbers, okay? So, in this part, I'm telling you, x is 15, so x goes on top, when y is what? 10. Okay, that's one part. So the other one comes from here. Find x. They're telling me find x, so x goes on top when y is 12. All right? So y is 10 and y is 12, they goes on the bottom. X is 15 and x I'm looking for, that goes on top, and you cross multiply. If you're going to write y over x, now you're going to get the ratios reverse, okay? So cross multiply. You will have 10x equals, I believe that's 160. So 15 times 12, no, I'm sorry, 180. And then if you divide by 10, x equals 18. And because we're looking for the value of x, that should be the answer. All right? Okay, next. Remember what I said, read the problem and whatever value comes first, put that on top. Okay? So, recuerden muchachos, lean el problema y cualquier información que lean primero, esa información la van a poner encima. Ok? Y la segunda abajo. Ok. On a map, the distance between Ryland's house and Sandiel's house is 6.75 inches. Okay? According to the scale, so you're talking about inches here, all right? So you don't know. In this case, it's a little, you have to be careful because in this part right here, I only giving you inches, okay? You don't know, you know, like the other piece of information. Keep reading that you're gonna figure out, okay? According to the scale, 1.5 inches represents 5 miles. This is how you go and set up your ratio. So that will go on top, inches, and miles will go on the bottom. Okay, sometimes we give you this before, so you can clearly see, all right, guys, that, you know, how you're gonna write the ratio. But sometimes they give it to you also in the second part of the problem. So if you don't see enough information in the first part, continue reading. At some point, we're gonna give you, okay, guys, the information. So let me rephrase this in Spanish. Muchachos, miren, en este caso, cuando ustedes leyeron el problema, aquí dice, en un mapa, la distancia entre la casa de Riley y la casa de Sandiel es 6.75 pulgadas, ¿ok? So ahí, si ustedes se dan cuenta, estamos hablando de dos personas diferentes, pero lo que estamos representando es la distancia, que en este caso, en el mapa, son 6.75 pulgadas. Dice, de acuerdo a la escala, ¿ok? 1.5 pulgadas representa 5 millas, ¿ok? En el mapa, 1.5 pulgadas representa 5 millas. Entonces, estamos buscando que la distancia entre las dos casas, o sea, la distancia real. Okay? So what we're looking for here, guys, we're looking for the real distance because in the map, remember, 1.5 inch is just something like this. But now we're looking in the real life, you know, how far, you know, how many miles apart are their houses. So if you want to be more specific, you can write inches on top, okay, and miles on the bottom. This is how you're going to write your ratio. Así ustedes van a escribir su razón, ok, como fracción, las pulgadas arriba y las millas abajo. So cuando lean el problema, ustedes van a decidir dónde van. So if you notice, in the first, okay, that's how you're going to look. A ratio here and a ratio there. So in the first sentence, what are they giving me? Inches. And the inches goes on top. So I'm going to write 67.5 here, all right? Now, obviously, they're not giving me the miles. So in this part, I'm going to be looking for those miles. Now, in the second one, they're giving me 1.5 inches, so that will go on top, okay, and 5 miles that will go on the bottom, okay, and you can cross multiply. Remember, if you write miles on top and inches on the bottom, it's still gonna work, but you have to flip the fractions because now the x is gonna be on top, okay? So let's cross multiply, and I always start with the x because I wanna keep my x on the left side. That will give me 1.5x equals, now 6.75 times 5, that's equal 33.75. And if I divide by 1.5, everybody should know that one I'm going a little faster because that's one step equation, okay? Divided by 1.75, I'll get, 33.75 divided by 1.5. That will give me 22.5. So what does x represent? The x represents what? The miles, all right? Because according to this, x are miles. So that means that if the question asks how far apart are the houses, your answer is going to be the houses are 22.5 miles apart. Because remember guys, 0.5 or 50 cents is half of a dollar. If you write 22.5 miles, that should be fine too, okay? I want you to get used to, okay, also to convert that to a fraction, okay? So that should be the answer of the problem, because remember, when we have an answer, a question, we expect an answer, all right? Cool. So we have 2 more problems and we'll finish. Now, this one is easy because we're looking for a unit rate now. Guys, a unit rate, okay, is just the value of an item by by unity, like one piece. Now let's say if you buy 20 pairs of shoes, okay, and you pay $300, and I ask you how much do you pay for each shoes, or how much each pair of shoes costs you. So you will divide 3,000 by the amount of shoes, and that will give you the unit price. So this is what we're looking for. Now, in this part, I'm asking you, write each as a ratio and then a unit rate. Okay, remember. Lo que estamos haciendo ahora, muchachos, vamos a escribir razones, ok. Y las razones, nosotros siempre las escribimos como fracciones, o sea, algo arriba y algo abajo. Y una vez que le escribamos como razones, vamos a escribir el precio unitario, ¿ok? En español, ¿ok? Yo le llamaba la tasa unitaria o el precio por unidad, ¿ok? Tasa unitaria. Ok, look. So the first one, 4 pounds of green pepper cost $7.50. Okay, look, 56 cents. Now, remember, here, okay? Every time we're looking for the price that involves money, money always goes on top, okay? So in this case, money will go on top and pounds will go on the bottom. Even though they give you pounds first and the money after, remember, you always divide the money by the amount of items that you buy. So every time we're talking about money, money goes on top. So muchachos, cada vez que hablamos de dinero, el dinero siempre va arriba y lo demás va abajo. Aunque aquí me dan las libras primero y el dinero después, pero recuerden, cuando uno compra algo, ¿qué es lo que hace? Lo que gastó, o sea, el dinero, lo divide entre la cantidad de cosas que compró. So, acuérdense, cuando estamos buscando la tasa unitaria y involucra dinero, el dinero va siempre arriba, ¿ok? So, en este caso, el ratio o la razón sería 4 over, my bad. Backwards. Let me just leave that. Will be, I have space here, will be 7.56 over 4. That will be the ratio, okay? Now, that's the ratio. Now we're gonna look for the unit rate. So now we have to divide 7.56 divided by 4, and that gives $1.89. What does that mean? That 1 pound of peppers, okay, of green peppers, you're gonna just like abbreviate, cost $1.89. When we compare stuff, guys, we have to find the unit rate. Muchachos, cuando estamos comparando artículos, tenemos que convertirlo a unidad, a tasa unitaria, siempre para poder comparar. ¿Ok? So, vamos aquí. Alex ran 23 miles per hour. Here, I know they're going to go on top, okay? And hours going to go on the bottom. Because you're looking for how many miles you ride, you're going to run an hour. So in this case, the ratio is going to be written as 24/2, all right? Now the unit rate will be 12/1. What does that mean? That Alex runs 12 miles each hour. That's what it means, okay? So this is the unit rate. This is the unit rate for that problem. So Alex ran 12 miles per hour. Okay? In the homework, you have one problem like this that you have to compare, okay? So be careful with this one. So remember, guys, every time we have money, money goes on top, and whatever goes on the bottom. And we have miles and time, times always goes on top. I mean on the bottom. Okay, let's do the last one. Pay attention because in the homework you have something about two different stores. I think I used Target and Walmart, okay? So look, the trip from Manhattan to Montauk Point is 120 miles by train or by car. That means if you go from Manhattan to Montauk Point, even if you take a train or if you take a car, it's still the same distance, 120 miles. Okay, a train makes the trip in 2 hours, okay? So if you take the train from Manhattan to Montauk Point, it's gonna take you 2 hours, okay, to get there, okay? Because you're doing 120 miles in 2 hours. Now, if you go on the car, by car, it will take you 2.5 hours. The question is how much faster in miles per hour? See, this is the question, miles per hour. So that means that goes, miles goes on top and hours goes on the bottom. Okay, what I was explaining to you with the previous problem. So we're comparing how much faster in miles per hour is the average speed of the train than the average speed of the car. Okay, so we're looking for the average speed of the train and the average speed of the car. So muchachos, miren, aquí este es el mismo problema que hicimos en la clase. Ustedes van a ir de Manhattan a Montauk Point, ok, ya sea en tren o ya sea en carro. La distancia es 120 millas. No importa en qué se van a ir, pero la distancia va a ser la misma. Si se van en el tren, se van a llevar 2 horas por llegar allá. Y si se van en carro, les va a llevar 2 horas y media. ¿Okay? La pregunta es, ¿qué más rápido en millas por hora? ¿Okay? Millas va a ir encima, arriba y hora va a ir abajo. Es la velocidad promedio del tren que la del carro. Obviamente el tren va más rápido. ¿Okay? So, lo que tenemos que hacer es encontrar el unit, ¿cómo se llama? La tasa unitaria de las dos cosas. ¿Okay? So guys, what we have to do is find the unit rate for both means of transportation, okay? The unit rate for the train and the unit rate for the car. So now, if you take the train, okay, since we're doing miles per hour, remember, miles per hour, so if you take the train, it's gonna be 120 miles divided by 2 hours. That gives you 60, all right? 60/1, because if you divide this, it's 60/1. When you get a whole number, guys, you only have a 1 on the bottom, okay? Now, if you're gonna take the car, remember that 2.5 hours is like saying 2.5, right? Same thing. So that will be 120 divided by 2.5. So 120 divided by 2.5, you get what? You get 48. Okay. So that means that the car, if you take the train is traveling 60 miles per 1 hour, 60 miles per hour. And if you take the car is driving 48 miles per hour. So you have to do this in order to compare, all right? So we're looking for the difference. So what you have to do is you're going to subtract 60 minus 48, and that will give you 12 miles per hour. So the train is going faster than the car by 12 miles per hour. So that should be your answer, okay? So how much faster is the average of the speed of the train? The average speed of the train over the car is 12 miles per hour. All right, so remember, if that would be involving money, remember money goes on top and whatever items you're working with will go on the bottom. So recuerden, muchachos, cuando estamos trabajando con dinero, el dinero va arriba y lo que sea, lo que le den va a ir abajo. Cuando estamos hablando de millas y tiempo, el tiempo siempre va a ir abajo, okay? Las horas, minutos, horas va a ir abajo. So remember, guys, when we talk about money, money goes on top and whatever you're looking for on the bottom, and we're talking about like some kind of problem that involve distance, times, and rate. The time always goes on the bottom, and whatever they're giving you, miles or meters or inches, that will go on top, okay? So look at the video, okay, as many times as possible until you get it. And with this, we will finish the first unit of summer school, and Monday we'll start a new unit. Please, guys, remember to log in year 1 from 9:30 to 10 o'clock to the live session, and year 2 from 11 to 11:30 live session. When you open your class, you will see in the corner, right, a little camera button. Just click on that button and you will be able to join the meeting. Muchachos, acuérdense, los del año 1 de 9:30 a 10 tienen que entrar a la página para tomar la sesión en vivo, y los del año 2 de 11 a 11:30. Por favor, solamente tienen que oprimir el botoncito de la cámara que aparece cuando ustedes abren la página, y abajo de donde dice clase álgebra 1 o álgebra 2 van a ver una camarita, y esa es la que tienen que oprimir, ¿ok? Suerte y se cuidan. Pasen buen día.